Hello, you're watching Telecom TV Spotlight on 5G series. It's Tuesday, the 28th of February, and this is The Slice. Headlines today: Orange highlights the importance of RAN sharing and fibre co-builds. Google sees progress on production-ready cloud-hosted CNFs, and what Deutsche Telekom really thinks of Open RAN. I'm Guy Daniels, Director of Content for Telecom TV, and welcome to Tuesday's edition of The Slice. Once again, Telecom TV brings you daily coverage of the most important 5G news and analysis from MWC Barcelona. I'm here in our studio, but my editorial colleagues Maistre and Yanitsa Boyadzhieva are reporting directly from the event itself. We saw plenty of evidence yesterday that telecoms remains a dynamic sector and that a lot of business is being conducted in and around the exhibition halls. Yet operator gripes over spectrum and regulation are ever present and are joined this year by a resurgence of interest in the so-called fair share debate. So let's now hear from Ray and Yanni with the second of their exclusive reports this week from MWC.
It's day two at MWC 23, and if yesterday told us anything, it's that there's a lot of business being done in the halls of the FIRA at a pace and volume not seen since 2019. Budgets might be a little tighter, but we're not in the kind of spending-free scenario we saw 20 years ago. Companies here are engaging in hundreds of meetings over just a few days with customers and partners, as well as meeting new names and faces, and that can only be good for the industry. But that doesn't mean that everyone's happy.
There is a long tradition of major telecom operator CEOs rocking up to MWC and slamming regulators for holding back the industry and making it hard for them to get a better return on their investments. That hasn't changed, but the griping has taken a twist and is reflecting the more regionalized view of the networking and tech sector in the post-COVID, increasingly digitized world. Deutsche Telekom's CEO, Tim Hodges, for example, took to the keynote stage here and lambasted European regulators for putting telcos in an M&A straitjacket and not doing enough to enable a fair infrastructure investment landscape. We just knew that was going to be a hot talking point this week as the European Commission begins a wide-ranging digital infrastructure consultation. And it's no coincidence that Orange CEO Christel Heidemann used her keynote address to hammer home the message that telecom network business models are so limited that, once again, the European telco community is having an existential crisis, with some operators not expecting to be in business in the next decade. Will Europe's influential commissioners be swayed by such public outcries? They haven't in the past, but these are different times, and there's little doubt the streaming giants and hyperscalers that generate much of the traffic that runs over European telco networks are concerned they might get embroiled in a protracted battle over fair share capex contributions.
And sticking with Orange, the giant and influential operator says it has reached a major milestone in its development of virtualized automated networks following significant progress with its experimental cloud-native 5G standalone network called Picio. According to the operator, it can run private 5G networks on multi-cloud platforms, currently its own telco cloud infrastructure, or on Amazon Web Services platforms, including AWS Outpost instances. Or it can be a mix of that Orange Cloud and AWS. And that's in a way that's energy efficient, secure, quick to deploy and update, and highly automated. Now, Orange says that running Picio for more than a year in 2 locations and making it available for use by its own staff has provided it with invaluable insight and experience and helped it to understand multi-vendor integration best practices, as Picio comprises technology from companies including Dell Technologies, Casa Systems, Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, Amdocs, Mavenir, and more. And the next step is for a Picio trial to be initiated in Spain.
Almost a quarter of electricity used by global mobile operators is now being purchased from renewable sources. And while this might not seem like a significant figure, it is still a notable improvement from the level of renewable power used in 2021, when it was just 18%, according to findings from a report by the GSMA. The association also highlighted that operators are increasingly working towards becoming net zero by improving the energy efficiency across their footprint, investing in 5G, which is set to consume less power per bit delivered, and sunsetting power-hungry legacy networks. In total, 62 operators, which represent nearly half of all mobile connections, have committed to science-based targets aimed at rapid reduction of carbon emissions by 2030.
Yeah, energy efficiency is certainly one of the hot topics here at MWC23, as is Open RAN. There have been multiple announcements from the likes of Deutsche Telekom, Vodafone, NTT Docomo, Samsung and others. And there'd be something amiss these days if Tarek Amin, who is CEO of Rakuten Mobile and its vendor arm Rakuten Symphony, was not in the news as well. And the Rakuten Group is here in force and expanding what it has to offer to other operators. And key to the Rakuten Symphony proposition is that it is bringing together best-of-breed technologies from multiple companies that can be used in Open RAN deployments. And one of those partners is AirHop Communications, which has just announced that its portfolio of RAN automation and optimization X apps, which can run on near real-time RAN intelligent controller or RIC platforms, is now available to any operator via the Rakuten Symphony SimWorld marketplace. Tarek Amin noted that AirHop's technology has already been proven to work in the Rakuten mobile network in Japan with impressive results.
At MWC this year, Telefonica is all about making things smarter. At its stand, it is demonstrating a digital twin which aims to optimize quality in the production of industrial parts. Its showcase features a robotic arm that can make real-time decisions thanks to technologies such as 5G, edge computing, data analytics, and machine learning. The demo, called Making Smart Industry Happen, virtually recreates an industrial process, with its goal being to make the manufacturing model more efficient and detecting potential faults in the production process. Apart from industry use cases, Telefonica is also showing how it can make agriculture smarter, including through deployment of smart irrigation management, traceability of the production process and certification of the origin of the product through blockchain, and field precision agriculture solutions.
So those are some of the major developments from the second day at this year's MWC, and we'll be back tomorrow with more industry breaking news.
Maistre and Yanitsa Boyadzhieva reporting this morning from MWC with positive news there on the crucial topics of energy efficiency and Open RAN. Well, in case you missed it, be sure to catch Monday's edition of The Slice. It's available to watch on demand from the TelecomTV website. And as part of our Spotlight on 5G coverage, we'll be adding new videos to the site all week. Now, Yanni sat down earlier with the Deputy CEO of Orange, Marie-Noëlle Jégo-Lavessière, to discuss the operator's new strategic vision and the importance of collaboration and asset sharing for its connectivity plans.
This is absolutely key, and we will deliver up to 75% coverage in 5G in 2025, with more than 70% of our customers using, on a daily basis 5G, which is absolutely key. And for doing that, we will leverage on all the RAN, the radio access sharing that we do have in many countries. In fiber, we will also accelerate, and we really make sure that we can build, we will co-build with partners, we will buy small fiber networks, we will use fiber cos, we will use wholesale. We really need to make sure that all together we deliver fiber for our customers.
And you can watch the entire exclusive interview with Marie-Noëlle right here on the TelecomTV website. On Monday afternoon, Maistre hosted a thought leadership discussion on delivering cloud-native network transformation, What are the actual needs of telcos, and how far away are we from achieving these aims? He spoke with Bikash Kohli, Vice President of Global Networking for Google Cloud, and Abdu Mudassir, Group CTO of Deutsche Telekom.
It's not enough to have the cloud infrastructure that's perfect and great and has been scaled, or even the automation framework that you have. The application has to be designed in a cloud native way. If I'm not able to do on-service upgrade and I have to switch off and impact customers every time, just doesn't work.
It's a combination of knowing what Deutsche Telekom needs out of this platform from day one, making sure that went into the design, and good engineering. Like that's what ultimately has gone into. And I would say, ultimately getting complex network functions to run in a couple of minutes on a cloud. I think we're Ray, you said, I think we're actually pretty close, very close to where we all have been wanting to go in terms of making this production ready.
It's an excellent discussion that focuses on the cloud-native collaboration between the two companies, and you can watch it on demand here on Telecom TV as part of our Spotlight on 5G coverage. We are seeing a rise in the number of neutral host companies offering shared infrastructure and, as we heard earlier, a corresponding desire from CSPs to partner with these companies. Ray spoke with Igor Leprince, Group CEO of BAI Communications, and asked him what was driving this development.
I think there are a lot of things that drive this trend. I mean, the need for connectivity everywhere, the need for 5G, the need for a lot of density of the network in urban environment, force really operators to, and their own constraint in terms of capex and opex really is driving a lot of this trend right now. So the capacity to have the right location with power, with fiber, is pushing more and more, our customer, the operators, to really share network. I think they're coming around the idea more and more. I think it's been the case on towers for now quite a while. It's moving into building, it's moving into transport, it's moving towards small cells, and especially, as I said, in dense urban environment or in completely rural environment where, frankly, the business case is not there, but the country and people need connectivity.
Now, if you had any doubts recently that Deutsche Telekom had cooled on the idea of Open RAN, then think again. Building on the results of the O-RAN town trial, board member Claudia Nemat was unequivocal in her support for the technology.
We will start a commercial deployment of open radio access networks with Nokia actually and Fujitsu in Germany and with Mavenir in Europe as a limited commercial deployment, because I just need to repeat that. We believe in O-RAN. We believe in O-RAN. We are committed to O-RAN, and we will make sure together with our partners that it reaches exactly the same level of performance that we would need.
So that's cleared up that. Just a shame the camera cut away at the key moment there. Would have made a superb soundbite. Well, staying with Deutsche Telekom, Claudia Nemat also had news about network APIs, which is shaping up to be this year's big takeaway from MWC.
We have the first set of network APIs in our live network. It's about quality on demand, location verification, and device status. And by the way, the same is true for Telefonica in Spain and for Orange in France and Vodafone in UK. We have these APIs not only here in Germany, in Europe, but also in the United States. It's the first to have network APIs implemented cross-Atlantic.
DT's work on APIs builds on last year's announcement of the Camera initiative, and we expect to see rapid developments in this area in the months ahead. Naturally, given its significance, we'll be covering this in depth on Telecom TV. Time now, though, for a quick run through of other news from MWC today. European Commissioner Thierry Breton addressed the controversial fair share debate during his MWC keynote. He said it's not about whether one vested interest should prevail over another, but rather ensuring that every EU citizen and business has access to gigabit connectivity. Radisys has announced that it has attained data rates of over 2 gigabits per second with its 5G standalone RAN solution. It leverages the Qualcomm RAN platform to support millimeter wave beamforming and carrier aggregation for FWA, private 5G and industrial market segments. And NEC has introduced a 5G virtualized DU, which is powered by Qualcomm's RAN accelerator card and runs on HPE's ProLiant platform with Red Hat Enterprise Linux. The solution is designed for optimized and cost-effective vRAN and Open RAN telco deployments. As well as reporting on the latest news from MWC Barcelona, we have a series of special Spotlight on 5G programs for you. We'll be bringing you interviews with leading CSP executives, adding the videos to our site throughout the week. Plus, there's still time to watch our MWC preview show, where Ray and I chat with HPE, VMware, AMD and Appledore about the key themes we expect to see covered during this year's show. Don't miss our Top 10 Mobile Moments series, where Ray and I look back at Telecom TV's 21 years of coverage of the industry's largest event. All the thrills and spills are there. We serve up a fresh edition of The Slice every day of MWC, with all the important news and analysis from the Telecom TV team. And then the following week, it's time for the After Show, our live Q&A program. We'll be analysing the major developments from MWC with our studio guests. So start sending in your questions now. On tomorrow's programme, we'll be reporting on the O-RAN Alliance ecosystem briefing and bringing you the key takeaways from that important session. My colleague Ray Lemaitre was moderating a couple of the discussions, so if you missed our live stream earlier, you can still catch the highlights. That's all for today's edition of The Slice. Please join us again on Wednesday for another report from Barcelona on day 3 of MWC. Until then, thank you for watching and goodbye.